Hello, survivors, and welcome back to another episode of Will You Survive?
The podcast.
And today we got something very, very special. Not really. We already had a part 1 of this. You know what it is. It's Haunting a Hill House Part 2. If you guys have seen Part 1, you know that we did 5 episodes of the series in Part 1. So we're going to do the other 5. And it gets real spicy. Kind of freaking crazy. Some beautiful, beautiful shots in episode, 7, 6? The one where they did the whole one-shot thing. That was great. But, yeah. Alex, would you like to give the whole, what's it about?
Well, for the these episodes we're talking about, episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, we are talking about Two Storms, Eulogy, Witness Marks, Screaming Mimes, and Silence Lay Steadily. Those are all of the episodes that we're going to be covering. The storyline, if you're not familiar with The Haunting of Hill House, is as follows. This explores a group of siblings who, as children, grew up in what would go on to become the most famous haunted house in the country. Now adults, and forced back together in the face of tragedy, the family must finally confront the ghosts of their past, some of which still lurk in their minds, while others might actually be stalking the shadows of Hill House.
So there's a lot of haunting out of time, like out of our normal timeline. And you see that with Nellie haunting herself for her whole childhood. But then also, this jumps to the very end, but we find out that Abigail died. Abigail being the Dudleys?
Yes.
The Dudley's daughter. Abigail died when on the same night that the mom died.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that moment, Luke had been saying that he was seeing Abigail.
Right.
And everybody thought that it was just an imaginary friend. So he was seeing her as a ghost before she even died.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like wonky time stuff that happens in these last 5 episodes that I think is very interesting.
I'm pretty sure he was just seeing her. I think they were keeping her secret because she's not allowed to be there.
Sneaking out into the woods, and then she would go play with him.
No, but he would say like Abigail's right here, and they would be like, "No, she's not." Like, "Oh, yeah." They would play along, like, "Oh, yeah, okay, Abigail," but he would be saying like, "She's right in front of me. She's right here."
That is interesting.
What do you think, Madison?
Am I crazy or
because I just rewatched all 5 episodes like fully through, and I'm pretty sure that he doesn't say she's right there. He just has to. He's trying to convince them that she's not imaginary and that she does exist in the woods, and that she comes to play with him every now and then when he's out there.
Eric, -1 point for being wrong because I'm taking my wife's side, even though I don't know if it's right or not.
Wow, this is how.
Alex +1 for the rich dad laugh.
I wish we were rich. What?
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like, hit a hole.
Like there was dollar signs between each ha?
Yeah.
Little golf clap.
Is episode 6 Two Storms?
Yes.
I believe so.
First off, sad as shit. That was the saddest. I think between 6 and 7 are the saddest fucking episodes. There's just so much packed into both of them, and it covers so much about their grieving and so much about such deep topics that it's my favorite episodes because it's just so emotional and they do it so well.
Yeah, the Nell. What was it? The memorial or the wake?
Yeah.
What
That's episode
were they doing?
7.
Yeah.
That
she was there.
when they were in the building. When they were in the building, that was episode 6, right?
Yeah. That's
yes.
when
they were. Yeah. That. Wow.
Luke made me cry.
That's intense.
Luke's memoir to her made me cry. He's like, Nell was always I was born 90 seconds before Nell, but she was always my big sister. And that shit, when I first heard that shit, I was crying.
What hit me the most in that episode is where little Nell was saying, that this might be episode 7, but where little Nell was saying like, I was standing right here and I was yelling to you guys, but you guys couldn't hear me.
Yeah,
Why couldn't
she's
you guys see me?
Right.
she's like, I was
And then
waving
you
both
see
my
her,
hands, and I was
yeah,
here.
and then you
the whole
see
time.
her dead standing by her coffin, and nobody was able to see her in that
Yeah,
moment.
and then
And
the child version of her is like, I was here the whole time, you didn't see me, and she's freaking dead next to her
yeah,
ghost.
they do so well jumping between all these timelines and being very deliberate with what information they're telling you. And it's really cool when they go back to a scene that you've already seen before, but you see it from a different perspective now.
Right.
And you see different parts of the scene playing out. It is very, cinematography is incredible. It's amazing.
One of the things that I mentioned, I thought of watching Two Storms, was I loved how the whole entire series, but mainly in this episode, they were focusing around the chaos of the storms, how they did everything in parallel. You notice that? And they bring it full circle with Nell haunting herself. And that was like such a creepy thing to me. But one of the things that Steven actually said in episode 1 is, in many cases, the ghosts are our wishes, right? And it's almost like, I mean, I know this is going to sound weird to say it this way, but it's almost like he's 100% accurate in Nell's case, because she was trying to break through that space and time to talk to herself, to get to herself. And it was, absolute terror, of course, both sides. She's seeing herself as a young child. She's outside of space and time, and, rightfully so, scaring the crap out of herself as a young kid, seeing her as the bent neck lady. But what tragedy to find out that you are haunting yourself at the end of your life. And that was kind of the parallel through the Two Storms. It was the early part of their life, the late part of their life. It was a storm dictating both situations. And not only was it a storm literally, but it was a storm figuratively. It was all inside of them. Everything was chaotic. The wife was going through her, shall we say, sensitivities. The husband was just trying to keep this house together. They wanted to build it up and flip it as fast as possible. And then in the later part of their life, it's everybody trying to keep it together for Nell for her funeral. And it was, I'm paralleling on purpose what Maddy just said, because the emotions were so rich and so raw because of how well they portrayed all of these things, all of these parallels side by side, the young and the old. And, the sad part is I got absolutely no relief from the flashbacks, because you're so embroiled in their life, you're so embroiled in their story, and it's just as tragic in the past as it is in the future. Namely, that scene you're talking about, they go running around looking for Nell, and where is she? Where is she? What were you doing? Why didn't you tell us? I was right here. And how horrifying and terribly sad that moment was. And I thought they did a great job of doing all of that, and they carried it all the way through the rest of these episodes, I think.
Exactly. Like, that's like, the emotion was just so raw and so amazing how they did it. And just to kind of touch a little bit more on the mom, we experienced a lot more of mom in this episode. We experienced mom going missing as well in the same kind of scenario, and she was found talking to the twins in bed. But surprise, there's no twins in bed. The twins are with the family trying to figure out what the hell is the storm doing. And then
It
all
wasn't
of a
even
sudden,
dark.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, the dad just sees her get blasted by the fucking glass. And she's gone again. And she's just like, the mom's sensitivity is really shown. And then I think they're making a really good connection between her and Nell being the most sensitive in the family.
I could see that, yeah. I think she was being taken. There was an order to this. It started with the mom, and then it started going from the youngest kid. Almost as if, like, it almost skipped over the dad. Like, the way I saw it is he in a sense, figured out how to maybe control it isn't the right way to word it.
Can I give you my opinion on this?
Yeah.
As a dad, they could never take the dad, but you take his family.
Yeah,
And
that's
he is
more torture to
extremely
him.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he's a very sad case. Still talking to his dead wife, seeing her
now,
at the
Now
funeral.
I am gonna jump to the end here and say the part that really wrecked me was when he was talking to her in the house, and he was like, "You were there with me," and she goes, "No, that was you. I wasn't there. I was here the whole time."
so that's what I was gonna ask you guys. Did you guys think that's really the case? Because there was a moment there where I started to think, like, is she just with the house now? Like it, because at first there was that that flapper chick. I forget her name.
Oh yeah.
Poppy, who was trying to mess with him, and then Liv shows up and is like, "Back the fuck off, my man." And so she's like, "Hey, sorry, darling," and she walks away. And then when Liv started talking to him, all of a sudden I'm like, now it kind of sounds like it's Poppy again. Like she just started saying weird shit, and I was like, I don't know. He seemed to understand the situation better than I was grasping it in the moment. But
just to finish up kind of like some episode 6 stuff, cheating is the cheating part, like
Oh my
in the
god.
sense where Theo got found with Cheryl's husband in the closet.
Yeah.
And then we later find out what happened, and he didn't do anything. But Cheryl was so gung-ho, it kind of, like, immediately, it raises red flags on her part. Like, she was projecting so
Me
hard on
too.
that.
she was such a bitch.
Me too. And when they confirmed my suspicions, it made me so mad about everything because she was so freaking self-righteous about everything.
Shirley, yeah, can we mention that? Shirley sucks, dude. Shirley sucked
Shirley the most.
in
Sucks
every
forehead.
fucking way. Especially when she's like fucking trying to tell people how they should be grieving.
Right.
That pissed me off so much. Dude, Theo's the best character.
You know, I thought Nell was my favorite, but Theo, I really hated Theo at first because it was I feel like these people, it's just like in real life, people who have this shield or this wall up, and they put forth I'm going to say this tough persona, right? It bothers me. But then just like in real life, when you get to know somebody as a person, when they're not just that shield of a persona that they put forward, but they're a real human being, then it becomes hard to dislike them. And that was what I got with Theo. I didn't like her. But then as soon as I started understanding, like when she took those gloves off and she was touching people and the amount of pain that would cause her. And then I kind of realized something, and I will say this is a little risque. I'll try to keep it PG, but one of the things I can understand is I don't like touching. I don't like people touching me. It's different if I touch someone else. I don't hate that so much, but if someone touches me, I kind of have a little thing against that. And one of the odd things for me is the only kind of physical touch that is acceptable is sexual. And I don't, except for my kids, but I don't really like any kind of physical contact, not for that specific reason, but I'll tell you my thing.
Was your kids? You're just like, don't fucking.
He's like, I'm actually okay with anybody else
being
touching
born,
me,
they're
just
like,
not my kids.
Your kids being born, they're like, do you want skin to skin contact? You're like, get that thing away.
Ew.
From me.
What
I'll
it
come back when it's
does,
18 and it has a job.
Kid,
Like,
really
I'm gonna
wants a
give
hug,
the-
you dap it up, like.
You put on gloves first,
Yeah,
though.
appreciate.
I'm going to give the
Appreciate it, big dog.
I'm going to give the simple explanation. If somebody comes by and touches me, they put their hand on my back. I have this very strange sensation. I feel their hand on my back for hours. It doesn't go away, and it's annoying. Like if you've ever had the feeling like somebody's constantly touching you and you're like, "Dude, come on." And I'm sure you felt that at least one point in your life where you're like, "Fuck, just give me some space." And that's what it feels like all the time if somebody touches me. So I I really got it. And then I would say, long story short, I hated Theo because she reminded me of me.
Mm.
Welcome to
I think
Diagnosing Alex.
I think there's a moment where Theo becomes. I think you discover this beforehand, but it completely solidifies it where they're at Nellie's wake, and she stumbles a bit and she falls, and they all go to grab her, and she tells them, "Don't fucking touch me," and she says, "I have enough of my own grief. I don't need your guys's."
Right.
Because she can feel
And-
others' emotions. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so like everybody touching her and they're also grieving is just a overload of emotions, and I think that's a moment that like really solidifies her as a character. That because there's like Shirley who thinks that she's bullshitting, but knows in her head that she's not.
No, you're so right. You're so right, because that moment was, I felt sympathy for her. I felt bad for her, and everybody else. Like Theo was the only one who really had come to grips and was using what she had when she went and rescued that little girl, right? She knew, for whatever reason, she knew she wasn't being haunted by a ghost, right? I that's not what the case is. And she knew she could figure something out. And she did. She figured out that the little girl was making up something in order to tell a different story, right? It was
what they all did as kids.
Exactly. Maybe it was
exactly what they did.
easier for the little girl to say that it was this smiley monster rather than what it actually was. But Theo figured that out. But it's ironic that all of those kids, all of the Crain kids, actually went through the kind of things that little girl was telling.
So that little girl was, like you said, she made a monster. She put a face on what was happening to her, which is kind of loosely, but foreshadowing to the Red Room in the way that they described that it was a room of many faces, and it would put on a disguise to, they refer to it as digesting them.
Yeah. Which I was a little disappointed that they said it was like the house's heart. I wish they would have said stomach.
No, she corrected herself. Nellie said it's the heart. She was like, actually, it's more like a stomach.
Oh, she did?
She corrected
Oh,
herself.
okay.
Just to touch on Theo real quick, my favorite description of her is from Steve, actually in episode 6, because he's described her as a clenched fist with hair, and to me that shit was so funny. I thought that was the best description of her.
Yes, I like that. But what I was going to say along the line with Eric was, when we first started watching this, I came in, I burst in his room, and I said, I fucking hate everybody in this show. He's all, really? Like, everybody. I can't stand any of them.
Time.
And he goes, by the end, it's so good. I was like, and I was so doubtful, right? The one thing I will tell everybody about this series is, as much as I hated every single one of these characters, it was like the best novel I have ever read. I could not stop watching it. I was watching these damned episodes until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, okay. I gotta stop. And then I would pick it back up the next night. And even after I went live one night and I didn't get off until 1 o'clock, I still went and watched 2 episodes, even when I told myself, okay, I'm just going to do 1. So he's right. This is a fantastic series. All of the actors, again, this is much like I feel about the some of the other movies we've reviewed. The actors are so good that they portray such a real character that I was able to actually feel raw emotion towards them, that I actually disliked these people to the point of saying hate. I hate you. But I mean, they're fake. They're fictional. They got the better of me. It's a fascinating series, and I loved all of these characters.
Since you were paying attention so much, did you notice all the hidden ghosts?
Yes, I was literally looking for it.
So many little hidden ghosts that you're not paying attention because it's not in like where the director wants you to look.
Yep.
They
there was
want you
one.
to look, they'll typically have it centered, right? So you'll be looking at the characters, but there'll be like a little fucking person standing there.
Yep.
Or a face.
The one
in
where
window,
they found,
or
the one where they found Nell. They found her in the foyer, right where they left her. And in that scene, they all come back and it's like, where were you? I was right here. I was waving my hands and everything. Behind her, behind one of the posts, there's a face There's a man standing there looking out at them.
There's
Yeah,
so many.
And that
Like,
one
every
scared the
episode
crap out
there's
of me.
one.
or more.
Or more, but at least one.
That is
And
so
it's
fascinating.
so good. Love this show so much. I wanted to the one shot episode. the, the way they pulled that shit off is very impressive. Cause the scene where the dad's like,
What was that? What was the one shot? I
think
heard you
that's the
mention that
two-
before.
The episode 7. And I think
it's the
episode
two
8.
storms, right? No.
No. Well,
Is it eulogy?
so 6, and 7 are definitely the one shots, and then
So I'm talking about the
and
one
then
where Nell's in the casket
that's 6.
and they're, fucking Theo's drunk.
Yeah, that's 6.
Fuck it. Yeah. So
That's
I'm talking about
6.
that one. So
Okay.
the way that the camera work in the show, it's so fucking good. Cause there's a part where like the camera's spinning around the dad and it's all one shot. So when it's spinning around, it's the adult kids, spins around, looks at his face, turns around. The kids, like the childhood kids, spins around back to adults. Or like if it'll turn and then the person in the casket's not Nell. And then it'll go back and it's Nell again. And then the way that he's like, where's the bathroom? Goes to find the bathroom. Bro got so lost he ended up in the past. Seeing himself running down
yeah.
the stairs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That
yeah.
happens so much in this show.
like,
though.
I'm sure it's not one shot, but it's one shot, like they hide the cuts and stuff. And I'm really a fan of that type of cinematography. I really like the movie 1902. It's filmed like a one shot. There are
Yeah.
cuts. It's a war movie. It's really good. I recommend it.
I
war
do
movies.
the cinematography that's very impressive to do shots like that. There some shows try to do it and they're like okay, but this one was pretty elaborate and it was very very cool to witness.
That's a really big deal in film when you have, you've got so many moving parts and you've got to do it all in one shot, one take. And you mess up anywhere down the line and you're going back to square one, you're going back to the top. And that is such a hard thing to do, the pressure, right? And no, that's impressive. For all of the actors to put forth such emotion all the way through. But I will say, Theo became my favorite living character. Nell was my favorite because
I love Nell.
even after death, she was still saving her family. The mom wanted them all there.
MVP Nell.
And
Woo!
Nell
She was tight in
telling
the
her,
house, bro.
telling Luke, no, go away.
Yeah.
Go. Don't do it. Don't stay. And I thought that was, let me ask you guys a question because this came up. I saw so many people on both sides of this. Do you believe the house to be filled with malevolent spirits or do you think it's a mixture?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I had a deep dive into this earlier because I was trying to make sure I got all my things right. I actually think it's based on the person. I think it's.
I would like to point out, I look at her notebook, I just see in big letters, Steve is a bitch. Go ahead. Continue. That was just funny.
No, I did a deep dive because I think it's based off of the person. Poppy was generally the craziest person in real life, and she's craziest in that house now. Abigail, sweet little girl, she's just a sweet little girl. The old lady that died, Mrs. Hill, the one that Miss Dudley took care of, she was like, don't listen to Poppy, she's a fucking liar. And like that bullhat guy, he wasn't malicious, he just wanted his fucking hat.
That's why I don't think zombies would ever be a real threat.
I agree because
Whoa, I'll get my kukuri.
wait. I think he's saying something.
Zombies don't talk.
Just wait a sec. What was that?
You need a loan? What, are you going to buy a house?
What do you need a loan for?
I think he wants to buy a home. Don't we know someone who can help him with that?
Yeah, we do. Have you heard of Corinne Salas at Next Home Grandview in Glendale, California?
She can help you get moved into your forever home now.
Your eternal resting place, if you will. Or forever home. That works. Don't miss the opportunity of a lifetime like this guy. Call Corinne today at 714-510-6443. You can also find her on Instagram at Next Home by Corinne or visit her website at corinnesalas.nexthomegrandview.com. That's CORINNESALAS.nexthomegrandview.com.
Not food. But to get back to my question, and I'll tell you what I think. And I generally think this entirely. Now, this is going to be slightly controversial, but I definitely think that ghosts in general, I'm going to say in a general sense, they're always malevolent. And let me explain why. There's always a node of selfishness. And pay attention to the mom, right? She wanted all of them with her in that house. Right? It was a note of selfishness. All of those ghosts in that house had that note of selfishness. And I've always seen ghosts as mostly, we're talking stories in general. I've never had a communication with a ghost, and I won't open up communication. But without having that communication, I've had to rely on other people who say they've talked to spirits, and it's always in a mournful, sorrowful, doleful way. They're never joyful, and that's because they're stuck and they have to watch everybody else around them grow and live and experience and feel and taste, and they can't.
Exactly.
And I think that the mom was very selfish. That's why I throw Nell is my all-time favorite, because she went against what even that ghost, can I say nature? I don't know what to call it. That ghost nature, which would be, come with me, be with me, come here with me. And she told her brother, and I think it was the twin thing, right? She loved her brother more than she loved herself, which was
but she
save
helped
yourself.
Every single one of them.
Of course.
She broke them all out of their whatever Poppy was doing to them.
Just to atone for Nell's character, they also mentioned the dad was like, whenever Nell wrote a letter to me every month, because she was the only one that kept in contact with him, or she wrote her letter to Santa when she was younger, it was always for her siblings. It was never for herself. She was the most selfless person.
Oh,
in the
that's
family.
right.
And she got the worst shit happened to her.
That's right.
I don't know if I would say that all the ghosts are malevolent, because there was just some ghosts that maybe it's just because they didn't play much of a part. But I think of the ghosts like the old lady who told Liv she lies.
Something wrong with that one.
About Poppy. And she told her that one lies.
Yeah.
And then you think of Abigail, who was very sweet. And also, who is the other one? The clockworker. He didn't do anything. He was just vibing. He was just fixing his clock.
So, just to finish up with episode 7, Theo and Dad's moment. When Theo was just like, why the fuck aren't we telling our family what we just saw when they got attacked by the little crawly ghost in the fucking funeral home, where it just crawled after them, and she's screaming in her dad's arms, and they're like, why don't we tell them what we just saw? And he's like, trust me, they won't fucking believe us. He's
like, bruh, look what I've been telling you this whole time.
Right.
For real. Right.
No communication. We brought this up last episode. Nobody talks to each other in this show. Just talk to each other. Don't lie to each other. Fucking talk to each other.
And
here's the thing. So, the dad tried. He said that he treated it like a door, and his arms were too busy trying to hold the monsters back that he didn't have enough arms to hold his kids when they needed him. But at the same time, there was a lot of shit that he was explaining to Steve, where Steve was like, yeah, you built that treehouse. And he's like, when the hell would I have built that treehouse? We were going to be there for 8 months tops. When the hell would I have had time to build a treehouse? And where did I build a treehouse?
Yep.
And Steve is like, oh, yeah. And he's like, are you kidding me? And he was like, and that clock was I was never going to get that clock repaired. I never hired a guy to do that.
And he explained how those clocks can only be repaired by specialists, and they would never be sent out to be worked on. They would have to come, they would only be sent out. They would never be worked on in the house.
Yeah.
And that they leave marks when they do this kind of work, and they had it appraised afterwards.
My whole point is that the dad was telling them, they knew. They were too young to really know. And it's hard to say, like, no, your mom was killed by a haunted house, when everything else in the world is saying, look, we can't say that your dad killed her, but
And
it looks like
we just can't prove it.
AKA fucking little bitch boy. The part where he's like, the wrong parent died, and then freaking Nell falls over in the casket.
Right?
That shit was out. I was like,
well, that's
ooh.
the emotion. That's the raw.
And I like to think that because I was there the whole time. Nell, just pushed herself over.
Oh yeah, she did. That was definitely
like,
Nell.
Yeah, enough.
Focus on me.
Yeah, I'm important.
For once, focus on me.
Yeah, acting like I'm not here.
Well, she wasn't. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
oh my God! Somebody in the chat just said she turned in her grave. That's
true.
exactly what happened. She wasn't saying focus on me. I disagree with that because I don't think that was ever what Nell wanted. I think what she was saying is stop fucking arguing.
Right.
You're tearing yourselves apart. This house is trying to kill you, and you guys are too busy fighting each other.
You're letting it happen. You're feeding it.
Yeah, you're literally doing its job for it.
Yeah.
Great job. And that was the same thing in the car when Theo and Shirley were arguing, and then Nell fucking jump scares and makes me shit my pants.
Dude, I was with Eric when he was watching. He's like, "I'll let you know when it happens," because he knows about it. I was like, "You get to that part?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You'll probably know when it happens." He's like, "Huh."
I wasn't. I was like, I was doing something and I was watching it and I was looking away, so I didn't realize that they were in the car yet. So I just heard them talking, and then I look up, and right as I looked up, it was that because they started getting tense and they started yelling, and so that's when I was like, oh, I feel like it's. And then I look up, and that's when she jumped out and screamed, and it scared the shit out of me again.
So I'm going to tell you when I was watching that and the absolute coincidence that took place exactly at the same exact time that she did this. So I'm lying in my bed, and I have an end table right next to my bed, so I had my phone propped up on the end table. So I'm laying on my side. I'm looking at my phone. I have my earbud in. I'm watching this, and I'm even like propped up on one arm because this is just like riveting, right? And it gets to that part, and Nell jumps in between the two seats and screams at them, and it fucking freaked me out. And now it's tough to scare me. I've been exposed to a lot of horror since I was young, and so I gave a little start. But then what really got me was it just so happened that my wife had gotten out of bed and she had walked right past my peripheral right after that moment. So I like start and then I start
a second time.
No, me and Eric were we're waiting for you to get to that part because we mentioned it in one of our episodes. We're like, dude, the freaking car part.
Yeah, that scene is wild.
Because it's such an unexpected, like, yeah, I've watched horror movies growing up. Forever. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like 4, so I know when jump scares are gonna happen. You can just tell. With that, they're just in the car. They're in the car.
That one just comes out of nowhere.
Like out of nowhere, bet neck lady. Like
you don't expect it. Like no part of your body ever expects that to happen at that moment, and that one gets you really good. I realized, actually, I think that scene has given me a little bit of PTSD because I was in the car. It's broad daylight, by the way. And I was in the car. I just got off work, and I was taking one dog home. And so the dog's in my back seat, and I'm sitting in the driver's seat. And what the dog did is she stuck her head in between the seat and stuck it right next to my head. But when she did it, it scared the shit out of me because all of a sudden there was just the sunlight.
Head.
The sunlight just got blocked, and there was just a head there, and it scared the fuck out of me.
That's great.
For those witness marks, the reason this is where I wrote Steve is a bitch, like in big letters, because He fucked over his wife so hard. He let her
Oh,
believe that
yeah.
he wanted to have
Dude.
kids. He wanted to grow a family with her. This whole time he had a vasectomy and refused to tell her because he was scared, which I understand him being scared to pass on a mental illness. That's a completely understandable issue. But at the same time, he didn't communicate anything with her. And he let her just
Yep.
believe that there was all these issues and they went through thousands of dollars. And like, I
Yep.
was like, fuck Steve, bro. That's painful. No wonder she fucking broke it off with him. Like, damn.
Can I bring up something about that? At the end, when it's like the happily ever after, everybody who survived thing, Steve is with Lee again, and she's pregnant. What do we think happened there?
They probably got a
IVF.
sperm donor or the IVF.
Yeah.
Or,
You can
there's a lot of
reverse
options.
vasectomy.
They just, he didn't tell
Well,
her that he
not a
was the
permanent
issue.
one. Well, yeah, I fully agree, but that's what I'm wondering. Like, was
Ghost
it a
baby.
temporary vasectomy or was it a permanent vasectomy?
Vasectomies
Because
can be reversed.
Ghost.
Yeah,
baby.
not permanent ones. There are temporary ones, and then there's permanent ones. The way he made it sound was like he got a permanent one when he was telling his dad, because if he got a temporary one, then wouldn't you just think that he'd be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not gonna get it undone though. But he never even mentioned anything like that. He just said like, yeah, I got it, and I lied to her, and I was pretty shitty for that.
Ghost baby.
But he
Huh.
never considered getting it undone. So I think Ghost Baby is a good theory, actually.
Well, I mean, you know, the ghost baby that was like, she was like, if it eats me alive, will you still love me? Like,
It's the
Oh,
tall
dude,
fucker
and
in
then-
the bowler hat. I know he hit. He hit.
And then Nell to the rescue, dude.
So one of the things that I actually marveled at, I loved how they came back around and answered so many questions, right? You had those scary moments where Theo was in her dance studio and the door starts fucking around with.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's a cool one.
And you're like, she goes over, saw hello, and they couldn't hear her on the outside. But then all of a sudden it goes to the other side and you see that was early on in the episodes. That was Shirl and Nell trying to get the key to get in. That was wild. And then you even see how the shadow moves across the door.
Yeah.
Like all of that was awesome.
But yeah, no, I do like how all those, there's a lot of little tiny details that get put together toward, especially in the last episode. The last
the
episode
last
really
episode.
ties up a lot of loose ends.
Well, the point that I'm wanting to make with that is how many scares that went through in the entire series that were nothing scary.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was just the other family members. It was stuff like that. But then how many things were really there that they never noticed? Just like we just figured out right now.
How long did it take for you to realize the plot twist at the end? Because when I watched this originally, I noticed the window in the treehouse, in the dance room.
Oh,
in
I
fucking
didn't.
Whatever.
he did. Yeah.
That's
I
that's
noticed
such a
it.
brilliant fucking detail.
It's the same
in-
window.
in everything.
'Cause
All
it's
the
red room.
scenes,
The mom's book
all the
room,
scenes
everything.
where they're in the red room, where you don't know it's the red room yet, but like Steve's game room, the mom's reading room, even Luke's treehouse,
Theo's dance
it
room.
all has that really thin rectangle window, but it always looks a little different because it's different outside and it's different interior. So it always looks different, but it's such a
Distinct window.
like, what do you call it? Like
Distinct. Yeah.
it's like
Unique.
a pivotal
Yeah,
feature.
it's right
that
in the middle
stays
of the
there.
wall. Like, you
And
see it
it's like
every
when
time.
you see it, like when they flash all those scenes back to back, you're like, holy shit. Like we've seen them in the red room, every single one of them.
Yeah, I
And they
noticed. I
even
was like-
show you the inside of the red room within like the first 4 episodes. They show you, like, you actually see inside the red room. You know it's the inside of the red room. You see the window, and unless you're fucking TJ, I knew that window and I did not put
the
that together.
doorknob.
So what twist specifically are you talking about? The red room being
the red room being
every room?
every like they're all their
The stomach.
spaces.
I thought
Okay,
you meant the
so-
dad.
Luke.
That's what I
didn't
thought you were
have a
talking
tree
about.
house. Nell never had a freaking whatever. Fucking nobody had
Tea party
these
room.
fucking rooms.
Playroom, yeah.
It was all the red room.
Cheryl's
And when
living
I
room.
originally
No.
watched this, I noticed the window, and I was like, "That's weird that this house has the same fucking window."
Andre, I
in
was
like every room.
Yeah. It also explains how what's his face? I think it was Steve, where the mom was like, I'm gonna go to my reading room. Oh no, I think it was Shirley and Nell in the kitchen, where the mom was like, I have a headache, I'm gonna go to my reading room. And then she walks away, and then Nell's like, where's her reading room?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Shirley's like, oh, she's not feeling well, just let her go.
You know, the other thing that I thought was absolutely fucked was the mom was the one who punished
Yeah.
Nell for writing on the wall, and it was fucking her.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
she that's the mom was possessed at that point, right? Like that's
Yep.
when mom was like key point has a screwdriver to his fucking neck point. You know what I mean? Like she drew that blueprint over and over again. Like she's possessed. Now at the end, Nell is technically awake. Nell is the most awake she's ever been, and she kind of describes that at the end when she's talking about how life is confetti, and all of these moments just kind of fall
Yes.
around us.
Oh, you know, there was something else that she had said that was very interesting when she was explaining all of the issues with time, and she had said, you know, life is confetti, and she was. What was interesting was you heard her talking, and none of it was making any sense. Right. But then they asked the question again, and then she said that answer again, and all of a sudden everything made sense.
Well, she
Was saying things out of order.
Somebody said
It's the stomach.
somebody said this room looks familiar, and she said we've all been here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she started repeating it all, and you're like, oh shit. And that's when they
She's
revealed
been
the
saying
red room.
that over and over again.
And that's a nice detail for the whole, she's not in the same time as them.
Yes.
She's like, she was saying things seem a little clearer now. Like she's able to be in the same time with them.
Right.
Instead of jumping around.
It's like they caught up with her.
Yeah.
Also, rat poison in the veins?
You don't survive that.
No.
No. What?
Will
Absolutely
you
not.
survive? No.
No, absolutely not. Well, you drink rat poison and you're dead. Like what?
Yeah,
Inject
Luke
it in
should've
your
died,
veins?
100%.
No, you're dead.
Like as sad as that was,
maybe he
Luke
has some-
should have not been
Maybe he
able
has
to be
some real
brought
strong
back.
veins, you know?
Well,
Dude, it's the heroin.
I
The
know,
heroin was
might
fighting
have-
off
Yeah, it might have
the rat
fucking
poison.
solidified his fucking arteries.
You know, when I first saw this scene, I thought he injected himself with gasoline because I thought that just made the most sense. But when I first saw this scene and before you saw the rat poison, I predicted that he was gonna inject himself after seeing everybody else be haunted. I was like, oh yeah, he definitely is he's gonna like look down and he's gonna be injected and it's gonna be like gasoline or
the
something.
thing is
And then they tricked me with the rat poison. But
yeah, the thing is like Luke was very, in my opinion, he was very smart for, like, he was just like, this house needs to fucking burn. Like, I'm gonna go burn this house down. I don't care what it takes. It took my sister. It took my mom. Like, this house is done for. And that's when he went, and then he goes to light that match, and everything goes, like, nothing in his mom appears. Like,
so maybe courageous or brave.
think
I don't know about
courageous-
smart.
well, okay,
Yeah.
maybe not smart, but courageous and brave was definitely it.
Yeah,
Now
I agree.
the dad was like, when the dad was telling Steve, he was like, that was the stupidest thing he could have done. He went back to that house.
Yeah.
And then you know, we go into he got poisoned, and
This house
he got
is an
possessed,
Avengers level
and
threat.
It is an Avengers
This shit needs a
level threat.
nuke.
It needs to be torn down.
So I wanted to. I thought about that. Do we think? I started thinking about that when the fire didn't work. I was thinking like, what would work? Something has to work, right? I immediately thought a nuke, but I was like, a nuke might be.
Oh, just a wrecking ball.
Nuke.
Well, I was like, a nuke might be excessive. Maybe like a carpet bomb.
Possibly.
Like-
Also,
It would
But
just
do
need
we
a-
think the bomb would explode and then after all the dust settles,
This
the
is
house
a
is still
failed
just standing there?
exorcism.
I don't want any of the dust to settle, considering the whole freaking house is moldy, bro. The red room is ugh.
I forgot about this theory
Yeah.
that I have. I actually came up with this conspiracy. So back in like the 1920s, 1930s, do you know what was super popular, aka when Poppy's time was? Seances. seances and Ouija
Oh,
boards.
right,
and all that
right,
stuff.
right.
So what if that's what started it? And that's when they invited more evil into their house. And then Poppy's crazy. All this other stuff happens. She kills her kids. Like, and then
Do they
just
ever
invite this negative
explain?
energy into this house? Like, that's a theory that I have
Here's
about
my
why
theory.
it started to become haunted.
I think that the whole family is just extremely, like, in their DNA, like, it's in their genes. They're just allergic to mold so bad that they're just tripping, you know? Any slight bit of mold, you know? Like, cars can get mold in them, you know? Like, what if they just seen Nell because there's a little bit of mold in the car?
You're starting to sound like Steve, bro. Anything but what's actually happening, man.
Yo, shout out.
You remember what Maddy said about Steve?
Shout out to your number one fan official. Says Alex should know he was there back in the 1920s.
So what was that like when seances and Ouija boards were so popular?
With the satanic panic, how did you feel?
You know, I'm gonna give you guys another story.
Minus 2 points for a story.
From when you were in Hill House?
Yeah. No, actually, I wanted to ask Maddy or any of you guys if you remember, because I remember I liked the scene, but I can't remember what the Olivia saw. She sat down at that desk that Steve made for her. He painted it all up, had the mirror on it.
Dead. That's right. She looked in the mirror and she knew that these were her twins, and
but
they were both
she
dead.
saw them in the red room, right?
Yes, she was in the red room where Steve had painted her that moldy, like, freaking thing.
Yeah, just
just painted over the mold. You know, that's fine. And then she looks in that mirror and she sees her twins grown and dead. And she's just like, no, that's the Screaming Mimi's episode where she's like, she's right. My kids are, like, I can't protect my kids. They're dying. Like, they're out there dying. And that's why she lost it.
You know what's so funny? The irony in that, right? Yeah. They're out there dying. No, they weren't.
They were right there with her.
She died in the house. Although I was so freaking mad at Nell when she went back to the house, and then I saw her, you know, dancing around, because of course I didn't know her story. And then as soon as I saw her story, I was like, oh my God.
I cried so hard.
Like, all she wants is to be back with her husband, and she's like reaching out, and of course she has a quack of a doctor. Which I did like that everybody was right about that, right? He was a quack. He was a quack.
Because of the mold. No, I'm saying. I think
this guy's gonna hold to his mold theory, man.
Fucking her husband dying from a brain aneurysm is literally my worst fucking fear.
That's what happened to my dad.
That is my worst fear.
That's what happened to my grandma.
Do we genuinely think that he just died from a natural brain aneurysm, or do we think it was the bent neck lady?
No, unfortunately, I think because the bent neck lady is her.
Maybe like maybe wibbly wobbly fucking timey wimey fucking time energy from her teleporting through time as a ghost caused some sort of temporal wave that permeated his skull cap. Or the mold, dude. She had mold in the sheets.
You know how, like, when a ghost walks through a person, they're like, "Oh, it's so cold," or whatever. Like, haven't you seen, like, there's been movies where, like, a ghost walks through a person and they die of, like, cardiac arrest or something like that.
Any of the ghosts in this?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Died of a brain aneurysm, and whenever he walks through somebody, you know.
That could be it. But
that would be kind of crazy.
I truly think that it was an extremely unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, like we've talked about, Nell is so selfless that she would never do that to her husband. And the ghost that was haunting her was herself. So I know.
Well, I know, but I'm not thinking on purpose.
No, I know, but
no, I'm not saying she did it on purpose.
Like, she would do everything she could to prevent it.
You know,
but she had no control in that moment. Those were the moments. Those were the moments where Nell had just died, and she was going back through. She was, like, rapidly haunting all of her past moments. She went through that moment. She had no control of what was happening, which is why I don't think she did it on purpose. But I wonder if the bent neck lady
I don't think so.
did it.
I don't think so.
Or if it was just a really freak accident.
At the end of the day, I think, you know, at the end of the day, Nell fucking deserved it, bro. She wrote on that wall, bro. She wrote on that wall. She fucking does. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, honestly, vandalism is not a joke.
Yeah, vandalism is not a joke, Jim. It ruins millions of families every year.
Andrea in the comments said earlier Andrea in the comments, she mentioned how fucking sad the Dudleys ended up. I also cried
Fucking
at that.
Ghost Child.
They did not deserve anything that happened to them. They were so kind. He was very polite when he was telling the dad, like, maybe your missus needs some time away, like, because this house made my wife crazy. But the minute she stepped out for a while, she was fine, and everything went
And
fine.
then they made the point.
Did they never go to the store?
They made the point that they wouldn't go at night, or they wouldn't be in the house at night.
Exactly.
Did they
Right.
never go shopping?
I know.
Did
They
they
never
never,
went
like-
anywhere.
Had a cottage at the end of the thing. with
Eight? No,
everybody.
no, no. I'm talking about main family. Were they never out of this house?
That's why they
8
all died.
months
Well, okay.
tops, and they
So,
don't leave
here's
the
the
house
thing.
for food. or
Okay,
anything?
hang on. We didn't see every second of their lives.
True,
We can assume
but
that they left to do various things.
You
They
get
left
out of
to
the
get
house,
materials.
you become less crazy. So, like, you would leave, you'd go to the
Not
store.
the mom though.
Not the mom.
You
Not
know,
the
but
mom.
You'd go
The
to the
mom-
store and you'd feel like, like, I feel a little clearer out here.
Miss Dudley brought in
Not the
groceries
mom.
one day just to say. That
Okay,
they did
so
go
it's
to the
fucking
store.
Miss Dudley's fault.
It's not. She warned them. They both warned
It's
them.
her fault for bringing in the
They're
groceries.
like, our kid is never
These
allowed in
lazy
here. The
ass-
minute the kid went in there, she died.
These lazy ass people not going to get their own fucking groceries. Also, where
I
are
feel
the
like
dogs?
TJ just wants to rip on
Where
them.
are the
There
dogs?
was no dogs.
No,
They didn't exist.
No, but like, why? Why dogs?
'Cause
Why?
dogs are
Oh
scary.
yeah, they never really brought that back
Yeah,
up.
no, why
they
dogs?
just it was just a thing that
so
happened.
scary.
Yeah,
I feel like
agree.
it'd be funny if the old lady who like died with like the little talking thing, whatever. It'd be funny if she had like a shitload of corgis, like the queen. They're just hearing a bunch
That
of
would
corgis
be
in
very
the wild.
funny. At the very end, the old lady shows up. She's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the
Ghost
dogs were
corgis.
mine." That's it.
Another theory is that monster in the basement that like traumatized Luke. I
Yeah,
think maybe that was the demon they fucking summoned in the 1920s. You know what I mean?
That was
Like-
the only like
That
real
was the only
physical
real,
thing.
Like, physical, like
It ripped.
But
his
even
pants.
then-
it did. It
Yeah,
ripped
but
his
even
shirt,
then
like,
it-
ripped his shirt
yeah.
off.
Luke even said though. He said like it ripped my clothes, but it never scratches me. Like it never actually leaves a mark. And so the way that he worded that, no, it didn't leave a mark on him.
Mentally,
It ripped his clothes. Well, yeah, but it didn't physically leave anything. So he was saying like it never leaves a mark. Like they never believe me because it doesn't
Left
actually
a
leave a mark.
so hard in his brain. He went to the sauce. He got lost in the sauce.
He got
Through
lost
the
in the
toes
sauce.
is wild. I'd like to repeat that. I said that last episode. He was shooting the sauce
right next
through
to
the
Nell.
toes, right next to Nell, your baby
Yeah.
sister.
Making Nell buy it.
Twin sister.
Yeah, I don't know if it-
seconds, 90 seconds, minus
90-second baby sister.
minus 2,000 points.
That seems very fair and just, Your Honor.
Eric plus 1 point,
Thank you.
minus 1 point for Eric,
I fucking hate you. Go. You know what? I hope you go to Hill House.
plus 800,000 points to the host.
This feels rigged. I don't know. Does that seem fair?
No, nothing TJ does seems fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
it seems to me like
Yeah. Your number one fan official says minus 2,000 points to Alex for summoning the demon.
yeah, he was the crystal ball they summoned it with.
Damn.
Oh, okay, guys.
They flipped it over and there was a beard.
That's how it holds it
Do
up.
we
right.
got anything else?
Last thing I wanted to say, I wanted to bring up was there was another plot twist at the end. How long before you guys realized the dad was dead?
Oh, I knew instantly. The minute he went up there with Steve and he was locked out, I knew that bitch was dead because he explained, I was like, he was talking to his wife and I had this feeling. I was like, he's dead or he's dying. Like he's going to sacrifice himself for these kids one way or the other like he always has. And immediately I knew.
The second
also
he
had a real bad feeling, and I was like, "There's something going on." I didn't like
the second he
immediately know.
said he said something where he was like, "I'll make you a deal" or
Yeah.
something like that. And the second he said that, I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna offer to stay for eternity with her."
So I knew that, right? I knew there was going to be some kind of a deal he was going to make, but when I knew he was dead was when he was walking out
Yes!
with Steve and he said, "Are you going to tell him?" And Steve said no. I think Steve was the only
He
person who
tripped over
saw
his
his body lying down. Right.
That's not even what I noticed. I noticed. I don't know if this was actually intended to give it away, but when they were carrying Luke out, there was a moment where they hit the edge of the house, and it's like he hits a wall for a second,
Yeah.
and then they go. And
Oh.
that was another moment where I was like, "Oh, he's definitely
Also,
dead."
What, like, when you become a ghost,
Sure.
why are some of these motherfuckers just regular and some are just the bent neck lady? Like what the
Well,
fuck?
I think-
That's so messed up. That,
But
I think it's
I'm-
how you die.
But I also think they change depending on the moment, because even Nell would sometimes show up as regular Nell, and then sometimes she would show up as bent neck lady.
Popping out
So
of
I
the
think it just
casket, shit like that.
yeah.
yeah.
yes,
Also,
but
Poppy would sometimes appear completely normal, and then sometimes Poppy would
Poppy was
appear
hot.
really
Like
gross
statues,
looking.
like we talked about last
Poppy
time,
was
they
pretty
turn
cute.
into
Poppy was hot.
statues.
I don't care if she's crazy. I'll be down.
No,
Okay,
Poppy was
yeah.
hot. But so like the grandma though, the old lady never appeared normal. She always appeared really ghouly looking.
Yeah, even in the reflection when Theo was like
Ooh.
checking
Yeah.
everything, you see the reflection of
Maybe
her.
like
Wasn't it Luke?
Or it might have been. I thought it was Theo. 'Cause
Maybe-
Theo could
No,
tell.
Theo felt the bed, and she was like, "I don't like this bed. I don't like
And then
this
didn't she
room.
look
I'm
up
fucking
at,
out of
like,
here."
The thing, and then she saw.
maybe the older the
No,
ghost,
that
the
was
more you lose yourself.
Luke.
Oh, okay.
That was Luke when he was talking into the little speaker thing, and then the old lady said something, and he looked in the reflection, and he saw the old lady there, and then
Right.
he panicked, and he was running down the stairs as slow as he possibly could, looking for Nell. But Theo touched the bed. She touched the pillow, and she was like, "I don't fucking like
No,
this
is
place,"
a
and
sick
dipped
bed.
out.
Yeah, she said this is
Yeah.
a sick.
Oh yeah,
bed.
she said this is a sick bed. Yeah.
Yeah, but like maybe the older the ghost, the more you like lose yourself, or like the more malevolent, the more you
No,
attach
she
to
was-
that side.
But she
more.
but she wasn't malevolent. The
malevolent
old
at
lady
all.
was
She was
very chill.
Very.
She was just
old
sick.
lady, like best way to describe
She
it.
tried to warn Liv.
Yeah, she warned Liv, and
I think it just depends on the ghost. Like I don't think I think most of the ghosts were not malevolent. I think they were trapped in a very malevolent house.
Yeah.
just to PS like the PS thing. Runny Egg Eyes will forever be in my memory. I just would like to point that out. Runny Egg Eyes was not okay. That shit has scarred me every time I watch
Yeah, it's pretty
it.
freaky.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for letting me be on the podcast. I don't know if you could tell I'm obsessed with this show. I watched it like
It's her
so
favorite.
many times.
That's why I really.
It is my favorite
It's
show.
so good.
Um
Thank you for being
yeah,
here.
thank you for letting me be on here, and I really appreciate everybody in the comments interacting with my questions as well, because I saw that a couple times. And thank you, babe. And do you want to announce the winner?
I would like to announce the winner.
Who's the winner?
So it was a real tough fight. There are points being thrown everywhere. I don't know why.
Yeah. Alex clearly won though.
Alex had negative 2 million points.
When?
I'm not sure. I'm looking at my paper I have in front of me.
Oh yeah?
Negative
Yeah,
two-
could you show that paper?
Eric has approximately negative 1 million, which is crazy that it's, approximately the same,
Oh,
equidistant.
that's crazy.
And then
I don't even remember the word million being thrown around.
but
with
really,
points.
guys, because we're, such a democratic republic
Oh,
of,
this
of
is
a
starting to sound
podcast,
exactly like our elections.
I would like a vote.
Okay. Oh, a vote.
We got 4
Of
here.
who? Okay.
I
That
think.
vote is for Alex.
Okay, we got 1 for Alex.
My vote's for Alex.
We got 2 for Alex.
I don't want to host.
My vote is that Maddy takes over for TJ.
Oh, well, yeah, TJ, you're not allowed in the next episode. Actually, I kind of like that one.
So I was really thinking that, because this was Eric's pick, I would just, be host next time too, So,
I said you could have done another one. You didn't have to do part 2 right away.
okay, but hear me out.
Also,
hear me out.
You were one of the people who was like, we should do Haunting of Hill House. This was also your pick.
Okay, but hear me out. I think as a collective, because we are a democratic republic, I think next episode, no host. We just read scary, spooky stuff because it is almost
It'll be
the
the
end
31st.
of October.
Will it be the
I mean,
31st
I'm
one for
okay.
next week?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that'll be
shoot.
Halloween night.
What?
No, it'll be the first. It'll be the first.
Wait, well, actually, no. I think this episode will be on Halloween.
No, Halloween's next Thursday.
Oh, yeah, it's not Friday. No, yeah, you're
But
right.
if you guys went live Thursday, just told scary stories.
We could.
We go live on TikTok.
Well, he's got the babies, I think.
We could do special episode where we just, it could be special.
We could figure something out.
Fuck
That could be cool.
fuck a will you survive scenario. We just do special episode with the people in the chat.
Reddit scary stories.
We Reddit scary stories. I want everybody to choose, I don't know, couple 20-minute ones, like 3 20-minute-ish reads,
Oh my
10-minute
god, I'm
reads,
not reading
maybe.
for
I don't
20
know.
minutes, homie.
Motherfucker, pick a story. Pick a story. I don't care. We'll talk.
I lose interest when Alex tells a joke longer than 20
I will
seconds.
make sure that we stay within the bounds.
Okay, I mean, I'm down. So here's my only concern with that. How do we decide a winner from that?
I'll decide it right now by asking my wife who should win.
So
Or we let the chat
I
decide?
think because our
Oh, yeah.
guy said Alex, and he's the only one voting. So I think me, him, and Eric all say Alex.
Okay,
I
Alex
think-
wins.
My professional,
Hey,
unprofessional
woo!
opinion is Alex. So next episode is you guys just doing the scary stories, and then the one after that is when Alex hosts.
Okay, yeah, we could do that. I think that,
Okay.
I'm
here for that.
We gotta do something, a little different. Special episode.
I counted your vote. Don't worry.
Special episode. Alex is the winner. Next episode. You guys heard it here first. I've had such a great time with you guys. This is such a great story, and my wife's here, and I don't know where I'm going with this. Alex, can you hurry up and read the goddamn socials to all the people?
All right, everybody. You can check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up Will You Survive the Podcast. Send us your emails. Give us your ideas of movies you'd like us to review. Any stories you'd like us to read, apparently. Send the emails to theboys@willyousurvivethepodcast.com. That's THEBOYS @willyousurvivethepodcast.com. And I do have a Pinterest coming back up and running, so we'll be able to promote survival gear, and I'll put that out on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as soon as we get that finalized. And
Need Patreon.
oh yeah, we also have a Twitter. It's Alex and Eric WYS @AlexandEricWYS.
And if you want to Venmo me $1,000, my Venmo is @TJ Needs Your Money. $1,000.
That is actually his Venmo.
That is actually Eric can testify. That is actually my Venmo. But yeah, this has been the Will You Survive podcast. Thank you all for listening to the Will You Survive podcast. My name is TJ. That's Eric. That's Alex. Fuck them both. They're both fucking
I
tired.
didn't want to say anything.
It is 12:27 a.m. On a Friday
Wow.
night, and
Timing
I'm a little
us.
tipsy. I took a couple swigs from some tequila. But until next time, stay alive. Don't drink too much alcohol. Stay away from mold. It really causes issues. And yeah.